I really appreciate all you guys tuning in live. The numbers on YouTube have been great lately. We're up like 1,000 subscribers in the last month. We're getting 300-400 viewers live, which is fantastic. So if you want to help me out, you want to support me and the channel and everything, the best way to do that, like, subscribe, comment, tell me that I'm handsome, all that good stuff. If you want to support me, PrimeXBT is the sponsors of these videos, so you can find all the information in the description of this video. Right now, for the next little bit, if you sign up with the link in the description and you use code MAIN20 before depositing any money, you'll get a 20% deposit bonus. This is the limited time one. I don't know how long they're going to leave it on. Take advantage of it if you want it. You can trade things like nat gas, Forex, gold, the S&P 500 with crypto as collateral, no KYC.
Shout out to the PrimeXBT team. Thank you so much for sponsoring these videos as always.
So my game plan is actually going to be very simple here. I don't think you need to big brain this. In my opinion, the trend is still up, and what we're looking for really is any sort of downside momentum to then use as an opportunity to long. I'm not trying to overthink this. I'm not trying to fight what I believe is a legit breakout. You know, if you look at a lot of altcoins, you know, massive breakouts across the board, right? Like Link, multi-year consolidation, breakout. You know, you look at Solana, month consolidation, breakout. There's opportunities abound, and it's about just identifying them and, you know, getting after it, right? Getting active in the charts, marking up your levels, looking for areas of interest, finding the charts that maybe haven't broken out yet, and getting in there. So the one concern I have, and concern's not even the right word perhaps, but obviously we've come up into this, you know, high time frame level here from the monthly, and we're seeing a little bit of resistance, and we've got that weekly fair value gap, right? So I said this is an area of resistance. Now I've seen some charts with people saying, hey, we're going from here to here, we're going to wipe out these lows. I personally don't think that's what's going to happen. That being said, this area that I've marked out as an area of resistance is doing exactly that. We're consolidating underneath it. To me, I think the plan on Bitcoin is very simple. We have a bunch of lows here that are unswept here from basically 34,000 down to, you know, 33,000. I would be looking for price to run any of these lows, and then if we get a nice bullish reaction, so it's a sweep, there's a nice buyback, maybe it trades below, but then it reclaims immediately. That's the type of action where I'd be looking to get into leverage longs on Bitcoin. And I'd expect us to take another run at this high and probably run out this wick. So I haven't been tweeting a crazy amount of charts because there's been no need to on Bitcoin. I think a lot of people have been late to this bull move. The luxury of being bullish early means that once the move has begun, I don't need to fuss about trying to get leverage long right here on Bitcoin. I bought spot Ethereum in these consolidations, spot Bitcoin in these consolidations, spot Link even earlier. So, and some other coins, like I have Solana. So I don't need to chase on leverage right now. I can wait for those primo opportunities. Whereas some people who might be a little late to this play, late to the party, are going to be trying to force leverage after we've had this big move. This is the kind of chop where maybe you made some money here and you gave a bunch of it back here trying to trade. If you're bullish, treat this very simply. So if you're bullish here, this is effectively a range. It's effectively a range. So if we're bullish, I want to look for us to get below the range low here. I mentioned all of these lows here. I'd like to see a move down into the lower part of this range. And that's where I would like to make my bets for a move higher. I'm not interested in longing this right here, hoping that it goes to 37K. It might. We could go up in one candle here, but from a risk reward perspective, from a trading setup perspective, where I know where my idea is wrong, my invalidation, I'm looking to get long somewhere below 34K on a run of some of these lows. And then that would be the next leg, in my opinion, towards 37 that I'd be interested in, because I still believe that we want Bitcoin to lead this rally. I want to see Bitcoin trade higher. I want Bitcoin to remain the strong asset. You know, if we're at a point now where Bitcoin just starts doing this and starts looking shitty, and all of a sudden, and you're already kind of seeing it a little with like Dogecoin, and we just start seeing shitty altcoins start to go nuts, that to me is usually a clue that we're actually lining up for a correction on Bitcoin. Whereas I would much rather see, yes, altcoins can go up up. Some might go up more than Bitcoin, some won't. But I would like to see another leg on Bitcoin where Bitcoin is the dominant asset, telling me that this rally is a little bit more sustainable. But overall, it's very hard to think that the bottom isn't in yet. Obviously, I think there are some technical factors at play. Like, yeah, we could come back to these lows because we are into this area of resistance here. So we could see a run down here and then back up. I don't know. But just like looking at the chart, this is just a very clear uptrend to me. I don't see how this doesn't resolve in higher prices overall. To me, this is just a very clear uptrend. Now, it's one thing to think that we'll trade back into here, right? That's possible. Something like that. I don't know. But to think that we're going to come and take out this low, I think is very highly unlikely. I think it would take some sort of systemic risk factor to trade below 15K again. Are those possible? We had COVID last cycle. You know, there's already war in Ukraine and Russia. There's war in the Middle East right now. You know, maybe the US gets involved too much in Israel, or Israel bombs a country around it and Iran gets involved, and then Russia gets involved and China gets involved. Who knows, right? Maybe World War III begins and the markets take a giant shit. There's always the potential for some sort of black swan, but I am not interested in trying to hope for the black swan in terms of that's how I'm going to get on board. The chances of you buying the code of the bottom was fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? Like the chances of you buying some massive red candle that's a black swan event that's just nuking every level, very unlikely. There's always potential that something could happen and price could go down. The only technical bearish trade I potentially see is some sort of deviation here, and then we would target these lows. But to me, that trade, you just take it if we get back below those highs. I don't really see that happening, to be honest with you. I'm personally gonna play the trend. I'm gonna stay with the trend. The trend is up, and as long as we're trading above 32 to 33,000, I see no reason to be bearish on this market. And I think the target is higher prices. Very simply, in a few words, what's the game plan for Bitcoin? If we get a run of any of these lows, like go set alerts, literally set alerts on TradingView. I'll do it right now. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Let's set one here at 34 right there. And I'll set another one here. So these are levels where if we come down into them, I would probably start to long immediately. And then if we close as an SFP, I would look to compound and then put that stop below the SFP low. So yeah, literally this is my game plan. Very simple, guys. If we get any sort of run below either of these lows, I'd be looking to long, target 37K. Simple. Nothing crazy, nothing complex. High time frame, I still think we look awesome. Any sort of significant pullback, again, I think is an opportunity to long. Nice and easy, nothing crazy. And again, we can go up from here. There hasn't been very many sweeps, right? Price is just kind of grinding higher. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we just grind up and then get another breakout. But obviously, if we get a run below any of these consolidation lows here, I think that's a quick stop hunt and likely we trade higher. If we're going to get some sort of rejection, like major rejection down below these lows, I think there's a good chance we would probably still take this high out first. That's kind of the game plan here, right? Looking to get back more levered long exposure on any sort of dip. There's my alerts, there's my levels. Nothing else to do with it, to be honest with you. Ethereum's like the fucking ugly redheaded stepchild that your parents keep in the fucking attic and lie to you about it being dead at birth, saying it was a miscarriage, but in reality it's upstairs and they feed it fucking tuna carcass and it just lives in your attic. Its skin is pale and it's got fucking red hair and it's allergic to the sunlight. That's how it feels trading Ethereum right now, relative to the godly chadly coins like Link and Solana. But we're still long, and we're still hoping that Vitalik can get that big old fucking veiny cock of his and start pumping some fucking upward momentum into this goddamn market. I'm out of Adderall, no one could tell. Anyways, we continue. So I'm long Ethereum, right? So if you've been following me, I longed Ethereum down here, right? So we took this long, we closed half on the move, and then I posted, I said, listen, this is a high hit rate signal for me here on the weekly. In terms of my system, we have even a higher time frame sweep right here. So this is the low of June, okay? So the low of June is right there. So this is a monthly SFP right here. This is the weekly breaker. So the weekly up candle that caused this SFP. So this is the up move that caused this move on the downside. So we're within that entire zone. This is a high hit rate signal for me because we also have within this zone, we have a weekly SFP and a market structure break. So we have a monthly sweep, a weekly sweep, a monthly breaker, a weekly breaker, and a weekly bullish market structure shift. So for my system, that's a high hit rate signal. Now, this system or this signal is based on the weekly and monthly chart. So what does that mean? That means that it will take a while to play out. So you can see I've marked off the weekly or the monthly SFP here. Here's your weekly SFP. Here's your weekly breaker. Here's your market structure break. So this is a high hit rate, high confidence signal for me. Now you have to keep in mind, look at how far the stop is from where we're trading now, right? It's all the way down there. That's 15%. So the stop is effectively this low. So what does that mean? That means that if you're going to be entering this thing where I did and potentially more, the zone, right? The distance from the stop to the entry is almost 15%. So when you're position sizing on a position like this, you have to keep that in mind, right? The type of size you're going to take on this trade is not going to be the same as the type of size you're going to take on a trade where the stop is 1% away. So this is why leverage is irrelevant, right? All that matters is how far is your entry and stop from each other, and then you plan your position sizing accordingly. But if you're buying spot, you still have to keep that in mind, right? The potential, I'm willing to hold the buys that I made here, and potentially we get another retest here, right? But I'm willing to hold these all the way down to 15, 16. Will I probably cut before then? Yeah, but that's where the risk is for the trade. That's the idea. So I'm willing to lose the amount of money that I put in here. I'm willing to lose what that loss would be on a 15% down move, right? So if you bought $100,000 of spot right here, I would be willing to lose 15K on that spot bag. That's the mental calculation that I'm doing there. If it was spot, if it's leverage, this exit here, so if my entry's here and this is my stop out, I want this to be between 1 and 5% of my trading account, whatever that stop out may be. And so obviously when the stop is 15% away from the entry, your position sizing is going to be way smaller than if it were, 1.5% away. But this is a high hit rate signal for me. We've got the breakout. So I already start to fill. Again, guys, I share all of this for free on Telegram, on Twitter, in these YouTube videos. But if you want even more detail and I'm live tweeting my entries and my exact shit, I do all of that in the Haven. Obviously, info for that description. But I've shared this entire trade so far on Twitter. I said, hey, I'm buying Ethereum here. I'm buying a little more. And basically, I've got a good chunk of my position filled, but we have this big low right here. So if you look at the daily, we've got this big low here, got another low here. So yeah, we swept, pushed up, made a fresh high. Depending on what Bitcoin does, we might get a small correction here, just back into this demand zone and then higher. Or if we get a very sharp correction on Bitcoin, this is an area where I would buy. So if we get one more big pullback here, I would look to long a move below 1740. So 1700 to 1740, I would long that. And then if we get a quick reclaim and a bullish reaction, I would then look to move my invalidation from here up to that fresh low, because I don't think it should go much lower than that. So I am prepared to buy more if we run this low here into this fair value gap right here. So that's an area where if we get a big sharp correction on the market in the coming days, that's something I would be interested in potentially buying. I don't know if we get that big of a dip. Like if we're looking at Bitcoin here, if Bitcoin pulls back to 34 to 33K, Ethereum's not going down there, but Ethereum might come back to, 1850, might come back to, 1820, and then get bought back up. So I'm prepared to add more, but my really ugly big pullback scenario would be if we came back below here. Big correction. This is where I'd take one more stab on the long. So that's the plan on Ethereum. It's been underperforming like a motherfucker. If you look at the weekly, I thought maybe we would run this low. It's still very much a potential possibility, right? That we run this monthly low here. Still looks very ugly, but we had a week of green for the first time in several weeks, right? We literally had 1, 2, 3, 4 straight weeks of red, then a week of green, then another 5 straight weeks of red. It's been bad. And then you look at things like Solana and Link, and they're looking so much better. So this has a lot of work to do before it starts to look even remotely good again. But if this can start to turn around, start to reverse, you know, then potentially this setup will play out and Ethereum will get that leg. What I would really like to see happen is I'd like to see us at the very least overshoot the yearly high, right? Like Bitcoin made a yearly high here, then another yearly high. This is the third time we've made a new yearly high in 2023, right? So we had the yearly high here, made another one, made another one, made another one. Ethereum, the yearly high was made back in April and we have not breached it. So it's been massively underperforming. So I would love to see at the very least Ethereum overshoot that yearly high at around 2150 and play some fucking catch up. That would be nice. Someone asked for gold. Let's quickly look at the dollar here. So the dollar, major sweep, break in market structure. So we're finally starting to correct here. So what you want to watch on the dollar basically is this retracement that we're probably beginning right now. What I want to see is a lower high form, maybe around here for bullishness on crypto. So if we come up to here, put in a lower high, that's really good for risk. That's really good for crypto. But if this becomes like a reclaim of this low, so we come up and then we just start trading up again and we make a fresh high, probably in line for a larger correction across the board. But this was the literal top on Bitcoin of the last rally. And then this is basically where we bottomed and started our most recent rally. So if this can continue to trade down and correct, maybe down into here, that's going to be really good for Bitcoin. So that's what I would like to see on the dollar, ideally. So if I think the dollar is going to go up and then hopefully down, what does that mean for gold? Well, that means that I will likely think gold is going to trade lower and then higher, right? So if we look at our structure on gold, there's your low, there's your high. So I would be looking for gold to sweep and then reclaim. And when this happens, I want to see the dollar trade up and then down for this to do the inverse, right? So this would be what the dollar does. That's kind of the game plan right now. Because really, you can take the entire zone here. And I know, oh, it's such a big box. You know whose box is also big? Your fucking mother's. Hi, I think we're trading the same style. I doubt it. We got BitBoy in the chat. Would you give BitBoy fellatio for $1 billion? That's an insane question. But the answer is obviously yes. Fucking Gluck 9000 Turbo Glizzy. For a Billy? Mondo True says, I wish my wife would stop cheating on me with her coworker. Okay, this is not a therapy channel, my brother. Would you diss Will Smith's wife for 10K though? Buddy, I would fucking go like this. Lick my hand right on the top of her bald head for free. I'm not liable for the shit that I say on these streams. If any government authority or body or regulators or censors are watching, I do not condone, nor am I responsible for anything that I say. The vibes are high. We're at $35,000 for one single Bitcoin. You know what that means, right? We're literally in girlfriend territory. This is crazy. Below here is a whole lot of this, okay? There's a whole lot of this going on in your life. There's a closet door over here below this level. There's a closet door. Guess what? You're behind that door. You're inside that closet below this level. There's tons of this going on. It's not good. It's not good here. This was the dark times. But look at us now. Now we're talking boobies. We're talking girlfriends. That's what's going on up above here. Honestly, the most bearish thing about the market right now is that Bored Ape Party video that is going around. As much as the market looks great, there's so many good looking charts out there, that video alone might be enough to send us to zero. Nana nana boo boo, you know, suck a dick.